Yeah, just yeah. We'll give you the first. The subject of this panel is innovation in media. So it's name of transmedia, but it's not only transmedia, and how we can create it, how it's developing, and how we can also fund it. So, yeah, thank you, Claire. So the first question is, what are new forms of media? And for this question, I will start maybe with Krzysztof, with Krzysztof. So if you can tell us in few words about how it's in Agora, how were your approach to this?
Okay, thank you for having me here, first of all. So about new forms, I would say that they come from the changes that are happening all the time, especially at these times, because we live in a world of constant change. And I would say that there are two main factors that shape these changes. First one is development of technology that we see around us. And the second one is change in user consumption models. So to give you just a simple example, 20 years ago, when the new episode of Dynasty, the series, you remember, some of you might remember it. The streets went empty. Every family was gathering in the living room, watching the episode, and the next day they were discussing what happened at school or at work. Today, everyone has his own screen, watching different type of content whenever and wherever he wants. If you ask older people which media they would miss mostly, they would say television. And if you ask the youngest people, they would say not even online, not even computers, they would say smartphones. Mm-hmm. So we as media, we have to not only go after these changes, but also we have to shape it, watch what happens, and so go for it.
I will be just cutting, so sorry, don't. You can hit me after. Just, but what, for example, in Agora, you are mixing press, online, video.
Yeah, so we do this all the time. We observe the environment and try to experiment a lot. We do mobile a lot. We do many video experiments with long forms, with short online forms. We cooperate with different content producers, small, the big ones, and we try to fit this content to different business models, because we can, as you know, monetize the content with advertising, but also we can try to ask the viewers, the users, to pay for it.
And this will be last question about funding. So I can switch. I want to switch to Basia, because so you know already about Basia and her activity. Just we want to maybe more talk. If you could talk more about Snapchat and how you can integrate community media, social media to YouTube, and how it's maybe changing the projects.
I think that the Snapchat is now the new paradigm. I mean, it changed completely the way people consume video. On YouTube, you can have videos gathered together so that you can watch them whenever you want. And on Snapchat, it's available only for 24 hours. And for the younger group, between, I think, from 14 to 25, it's now the most developing platform. Now they introduce pre-rolls. They are working on API, so they are trying to adjust the platform to advertisers, because they have, I think that they believe that when young people want to be there, they can also monetize it. And in my opinion, it will completely change the way we consume video online right now.
Okay, so thank you very much. And next for Claire. How many of you knows the name transmedia? Okay, so Claire, I will start with you because in France, transmedia is really like developing very well.
Yeah.
So
well, to be honest, I don't like very much this word.
I know, but it's just it's one.
No, it's okay.
Exchange.
It's okay.
If you
No,
can
wait. Let me to be honest, because I mean, transmedia is covering a lot of a wide range of, I mean, interactive forms or linear forms on the web. So we decided to call that web creation. And transmedia as such usually is used when we have two stories linked to the others. The main one could be on TV, linked to another experience on the web.
Okay, so this form also is very developing very well in France, and also new forms. And this is really like we've got a great honor to be with specialists. It's perceptive media. How many of you have ever heard about perceptive media? Yeah, it's even lesser. Great. So, Iann, just tell us a little bit more about.
I'll say, I'd start actually the question you kind of posed before about kind of new types of media. I think we have to separate the output from the actual source, and so YouTube and all these other things are outputs. The source is still a linear story. What perceptive media is about changing that idea of a linear story, and it's much more non-linear storytelling, and how the output could manifest, online or elsewhere. But I could talk more about that to death if you want me to.
Yeah. So please just tell us a little bit more about perceptive media and everything what BBC is doing right now. I'll just put you.
Should I just stand up and do it?
Yeah, because also BBC, it's it's one of the main broadcaster. He's really experiencing a lot with the content. So let's share with us.
Okay, so I'll quickly give you a quick rundown through perceptive media. So I think it's interesting to kind of put it in comparison to transmedia. There are some principles about transmedia which are really key and really important. It's engaging, it's participatory, it's personal, it can be personal, it's immersive. And we wanted to boil all those values down to something else which is a little bit different. So you have to remember, and this is what I mean by the kind of outputs and the inputs and stuff like that, is storytelling has a massive long history, and kind of digital broadcast and written words is still kind of like not that old, Okay, the written word's quite old, but there's a lot more that could be done, and storytelling has that rich history. So if you remember when we used to tell stories around a campfire, there was something about the person who's telling the story had in their mind what the story was and where they were going. But if suddenly the campfire goes out, or someone like runs into the fire or something, they obviously have to change it, and that's what it's about. It's about the ability to change. Now the media has got to a point where, especially with the internet, that we could probably do most of that. So it's about changeability and the idea of the audience and the context having an effect on the actual story. So we're basically missing the context, the mood, body language, and much more. So obviously someone is probably falling asleep, someone's kind of highly awake. So this is what we call perceptive media, and I can talk more about it to death, but I won't now. So it's about engaging narratives, and we created this drama, audio drama, which unfortunately I can't get to press the button. But if you listen to it, it basically is the same drama, but based on where you're listening to it from, it would play a different audio. You press.
Yeah. Just go. I practice with Francis.
Okay, it
It's
might
not
not.
working. No.
I've got a phone.
Yeah.
I've got a window.
Beautiful morning like this.
Well, it's not that great.
No, because you cannot get through 10 minutes of credit.
You've no idea what this is
I
like.
have the products and towels.
If you felt the fear I did when you tried to go.
Okay, so you said Bradford earlier. Bradford's a city in England. So if you play the next one. Uh-oh. Okay, let's give that one. But if you listen to it yourself, you'll hear a different city and different locations and different weather, and all these different things change because of the fact that you are in a different place. So
I will try maybe one more.
Try one more.
Missing out on all of Newcastle upon time.
There you go. So it's a real basic example, but you got the next one.
You cannot get through 10 minutes.
I got it, actually. It's all right. It means that you can start to actually customize. You have to play another one. That's okay. We're short for time, so that's okay. So. You can customize where the story is coming from, and that raises loads of challenges, but it's really interesting challenges. It's about immersive narrative. So we created a documentary which is flexible. Okay, I prefer fluid actually, but I'll call it flexible for now. And what it is, we broke down the documentary into tiny little pieces, and you can listen to the documentary and choose to listen to the whole thing in 24 minutes or 12 minutes or anything else in between. And it scales, and it's all done in real time. So you can literally go, I'm really bored of this. I'm going to switch this to like 12 minutes, or less time. Or actually, this is really interesting. I'm going to change it up. And it's clever enough to know what's already been said. So it's about personalized narratives. I won't talk about this, but this is very interesting. If you've seen Vanilla Sky, you'll probably know what I was going to say. We are working on a thing called visual perspective media, and it's a drama. It's just work in progress, so I fortunately can't show you much. But it has the idea of, rather than versions and branching narratives, it's almost like this scene. And if you've seen Interstellar, you'll know what I mean. It has all these different versions which are generated on the fly. So when people talk about versions or a narrative, which version of the narrative is what we're talking about. So we're talking about the essence of storytelling. And it's about participatory storytelling. So it should be stuff you should affect the story. So you've probably seen the Connect, if you think about all the sensors think about what you could do with those things if you knew what the person was doing. The person's falling asleep or the person's lying down. How does it change the story? And we are working on we've worked on this radio called Perceptive Radio, and it changes the story changes elements of the story based on where you are, what you're doing, what noises there are, stuff like that. And I think that's where we should be going, because that goes back to how storytelling used to be. That's it. Okay, and so thank you very much. Maybe also we're going through the case study. So maybe Krzysztof, can you cite us a case study from Agora about also new media, new projects?
Okay, so in terms of omni-channel or cross-media cases, there's one that I like most because it's the one that I've been working on, and it was my first in Agora. Back in 2009, we've produced a web series called Nicola. Maybe someone heard of it or not. But it was quite a big production. We've made 100 episodes. Each one had a premiere. I mean, the premiere was 3 to 4 times a week. And what makes it exceptional is that it was produced almost on the fly, because whatever the social media reaction was, we've included that in the scenario. So the viewers had some impact on the scenario itself. We have also engaged our media. So there was an episode where the main character was interviewed on one of our radio stations live. We also used all our media to promote the web series. That's I think that's one of the biggest, if even not the biggest, online production in terms of a budget in Poland so far. So yes, we're doing such things using the tools that we have. So all actually media that exist.
Last month we realized the campaign for Ambipur with one of our creators, Martin Stankiewicz, and the idea was the challenge of Ambipur. The challenge was based on our creator living in Złote Tarasy, so the shopping mall, in the glass house for 2 days. And he put the trailer of the action on his YouTube channel, and he had about 200,000 views on it. And in this trailer, he encouraged people to put challenges for him. They could comment it on YouTube, and then on Instagram, he started posting what is happening in this glass house. And people were trying to give him other challenges or encourage him to invite other people to this project. So the entire project was on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and each channel was used in a completely different way, but all of them were engaging his community.
And Clark, because in France also there's a lot of France Télévision and Arte who are doing a lot of projects. Can you show us?
As I spoke about web series and fiction this morning, I think that in this area, the most creative part is related to documentaries in France. We have key players like France Télévisions with Studio 4 and Arte, which have really played a huge role to help all the young producers to develop experimentations, but now big productions. The fact is that there is really a wide range of creativity from documentaries on air completed by serious game. That could be the way to show documentaries and involve the audience to directly be in touch with the protagonists and so on. So I know that we don't have a lot of time. What I can tell you is that we have produced in France, and it's available for free on iTunes, on iBook, let's say, a very precise document to speak about and show all the productions, all the web creations that have been on air right now, online and on air, and it's interactive. It's really it's available in English. That's called The New Producers. The French touch of the web creation. It's really available. You can have a look at it, and if I think we will give you the link.
We'll give you on Facebook, so please just follow on our fan page. On Facebook. So we'll put many links, even from today's panel. So, and Iann, can you add something different case study because we are
I think maybe I'm kind of doing down a little bit of what some of the work we've done, because if you think about the scalable documentary, think about what's actually happening there. If you're asking me about my opinion about something, then I'm aware of what I just said, and so if you start to walk out the room, then I may speed up and kind of not speed up my speech, but I'll skip over bits because I know that you're kind of about to walk out the room, and if you come back, then I'm aware of what the things that I've missed, and so I won't bring them up in conversation later because it wouldn't make sense. And I think that's something quite amazing. And I think the key thing about all these things is that we're just scratching the surface, and we're making this really open. And I think maybe this comes into some of the questions you're about to ask about kind of sharing and adoption and stuff like that. We make stuff very open so that other people can go ahead and just build stuff with this and just play with it.
Okay, so we don't have so much time because we already like to take 30 minutes. Just maybe very quickly, just if you could give advices to producers who want to experiment, what it will be? Just.
In my opinion, engaging audience. This is the thing that makes projects now sensible.
I would advise to do whatever you believe in, whatever you like, whatever you are good at, because today's users, viewers, they are very sensitive about your reliability.
I think it's important to get first a good story. Then it's important as a producer to gather the different awareness you will need and be really open and know how to manage all those different skills. Because as we told before, when you're speaking about transmedia, it means that you will have to work with developers, you will have to work with game designers, with web designers, with community managers, and so on. And that's a team. And that's really, we had the feeling that the new way we work was very close to what we call in the United States as showrunner. So it's really important to work this way with a very good team, but with really very different skills. That's a second point. And then I agree with you, it's a real difference with TV or movie production. It's really important to create this relationship, strong relationship with the audience, because it's physical. You are really online, which means that you are directly in touch with the audience, and that's really important.
Collaboration, for one. You cannot do this alone. You think you can, you can. Simple as that. Be really open with your ideas, because it's no good having your idea and having this kind of mentality. You need to just be like spreading your ideas. You know, I mean, this is kind of a bit of what I'm doing now, spreading ideas so that one of you may go away and go, oh, you know, that thing that Ian was talking about, I want to know more about it, and look it up, and then come and contact me or contact somebody, or just go on GitHub and download it, you know, and try it out for yourself, you know. So that's definitely another thing. I think I would also add, and I'm going to disagree with some of what you guys said. I know it's a panel and I know we're wrapping up, but and this is through the experience of the BBC, one of the things, especially with transmedia, is that one of the things that we went back to the drawing board with is that it's no good to go, I'm going to, so when you're writing the script or writing whatever it is, you go, I'm going to write this for TV. You need to write it, a great story, and then look at the outputs. Because with transmedia, you know, it could be a serialized YouTube kind of channel. It may end up being a book. It may end up being a series of blogs. It could be a whole bunch of things. And you shouldn't, don't let the medium affect the story at this stage. You know, you can lock that down later.
Okay, so thank you very much. You are survivors. All more information you can find, you'll find on Facebook. So all the projects. Thank you very much for all panelists. Thank you.